Cassandra, good to see you. Welcome to Pop Alternative.
Thank you for having me.
You know, it's really exciting because Clown in a Cornfield, this kind of journey of people being able to see this film has been really cool, right? Because there's obviously the announcement that, the very popular book's going to be a slasher film. Everyone's excited. South by Southwest world premiere in the theaters now, and then at some point Shudder. Have you been able to process this, in regards to this kind of journey of a lot of different people being able to see it? It's pretty crazy.
It is so cool. I think I'm still in shock. It's because we filmed end of 2023, so it's been this build up, and especially in the past few months, it's been so exciting. So yeah, I'm just in shock.
I know. And it's crazy because I remember when this movie was announced, I was like, yes. And then I noticed it was
Yeah.
shot in Winnipeg, and I'm like, I know all these people. This is great.
Yeah.
Take me through that first kind of couple of days on set, because those couple of days on set, even if it's not the big kind of scenes or anything, it all leads up to that first week, right? There's preparation, figuring it out. What's that like that first week of set?
Well, we did do some prep. We had a table read, which unfortunately I was recovering from a sickness. So I was so sad because I couldn't be there in person and I was over Zoom. And I couldn't hear anything over the Zoom. So when everyone would turn to look at me, that's when I would say my line. But when I finally got to be with the cast, it was awesome. We clicked so fast. We all talk about that. It was just really special. We all felt like we've known each other for so long. And yeah, the first days on set, I think the very first day was the jail scene. And that was an awesome day. When you see the film, you'll see why. But it was, yeah, we clicked so incredibly quickly. It doesn't always happen that way. So it was special.
The slasher component and then the comedy component, when you kind of have that and all of those elements in one in a script, and then you actually go to production and start seeing it come to life, what is that script to screen journey like for you, given what I just said about kind of the genre bending kind of components of it a little bit?
Yeah, it was so cool to have the comedic aspect and Eli especially because he has such a unique take on comedy as well. But truly, I think the trick to doing comedy is not to be trying to do comedy. So we played it as honest as we could, and luckily the comedy, came out thanks to Eli. But yeah, it's amazing that it has that flair, and it's such a great release of tension in those moments when things are so heightened. So.
I feel like your gut and your instinct and your first impressions are really cool because you have this script. When you read the script for the first time, right? When officially you get the script, the whole thing, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Fun slasher, clown movie, everything? No, I'm just curious because that's always interesting to me, right? What's the first thing that kind of sticks with you?
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember I had done the audition and then I found out I got it. And then I read the book and then the script. But reading the script, I was blown away equally as I was with the book because it was my first time reading a horror novel. And it was written so vividly, but I thought the script, the book were brilliant, and I was so excited, beyond excited.
There's gonna be, and I feel like maybe you can answer this with clown, maybe you can answer this with other projects, but my filmmaker hat always thinks about things like this where we might see a scene on screen that is a 2-3 minute scene runtime wise, right? But that scene might have taken a lot longer to film. That scene might have taken 2-3 days. You know what I mean? When that happens, does those scenes, they feel like their own mini movie or mini TV show, or do they feel part of Clown in the Cornfield? It's so interesting to think about, right?
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't realize how much time it takes to go into a scene. But that's what was cool working on a horror because you do have moments where we only get one take, depending if it's a blood splatter. So that is a cool aspect of horror is it's you got to get a one take wonder for some of those. But yeah, no, everything felt like it was we were all so immersed in it. So every day definitely felt like it was a part of the movie, no matter how many days it took to film a specific moment.
I do remember when you filmed this movie, because I remember talking to Io Solanke about this as well. And I find it interesting because while you were filming Clown in a Cornfield, it was like a real, like, it was a really good time for the horror movie genre. Like some of the biggest movies were coming out and everything, right? I'm wondering if you like think about that at all, where you're like, I'm making like a horror film at a time where the landscape is the biggest it's ever been. Like, does
Yeah.
that ever come to mind at all? Do you try not to think about it? Like, I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I was like focusing on that during the filming, but I totally agree. We've had such a recent surge of incredible horror films. So I feel like to be a part of that is just it's so epic. But you know what? That's the best thing about the horror genre is there's so many subgenres within.
Yep.
So every film is still it's so unique. So but yeah, it's been I love the horror genre. So I'm a huge horror fan. So I couldn't be more pumped about, you know, how many amazing films there are right now.
Your movie's gonna be on Shudder.
I know. It's my parents are seeing it tonight in theaters because in Canada it's airing it's premiering tonight. So I'm so pumped for everyone to finally get to see it.
Oh my goodness. It's just
Especially
it's just crazy, right? Because it's like you make this film and it's coming out now, but then like, you know, it's gonna make its way to Shudder, and then like spooky. We're gonna snap our fingers. It's gonna be spooky season, right? It's gonna be the fall, and there's gonna be so many more opportunities for people to watch it, right? Like that's cool to think about, right?
Yeah, totally. And it's like so awesome that it's part of, you know, like Halloween, you can rewatch it every year. That's what's so great about horror films as well, is they have like such a specific time. I mean, I watch horror films year round, but
Well, it's always spooky season for us, let's be honest.
exactly, exactly. But it's always nice, you know, at Halloween to revisit all the classics that we love. So
Absolutely. I think this film does a very good job, I think, of pushing the envelope of horror. Like we kind of talked about Eli with the comedy aspect of it. What is your first kind of impressions of like when you are, because I asked you about reading the script, but now like going and filming it. What was that like in regards to the conversations that led up to those like really kind of fun, like slasher, like kids getting chased by a clown, you know what I mean? Because there's all these conversations that I'm sure happen before you film and like while you film with Eli and the cast, and then it's like this clown's just like chasing kids, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't feel like we had tons of conversations. We really like all threw ourselves into it, and we had, you know, Eli as our, you know, for guidance. But yeah, I just remember us all just throwing ourselves full-heartedly into this, and it was such a wild ride. But yeah, it's so cool though, being a horror fan and seeing how, you know, those epic kills are created. So it
I
was so
know. And you might or might not die in this movie, but we'll wait to
no one dies. No one dies in this movie.
No one dies in Clown in a Cornfield, okay?
No. The clowns are just they're misunderstood.
Amazing cast. We
Amazing.
talked about Io Solanke, Verity Marks, Aaron Abrams, Katie Douglas, Carson, Vince, Alexandra. Like great cast. Kevin. What was it like working with everyone? And some people you work with more than others, but like what was it like just being with everyone?
I want to like cry when I talk about this cast. Again, I can't stress it enough. We all just felt something special. Not to speak on their behalf, but we've had conversations about it.
It was special, you guys. I'm telling the world.
I was like, we've talked about how special it was that we, you know, lifelong friendships have been made doing this film. I couldn't have asked for a better group to be working through the night till the sun came up with. So yeah, everyone's just so cool, so genuine. Every single cast member, like, you know, from Kevin, Will, everyone.
Yeah.
So lovely.
Absolutely.
That's a good thing.
I know you tried not to do this, but I'm interested to talk to you about this because you mentioned you're a big horror movie fan. And I'm just like wondering because like I feel like, you know, us that watch horror movies, I feel like we're always thinking about like audience reactions, right? Like jump scares and everything. Are you ever conscious of the audience member watching Clown in a Cornfield while you're making it? Or is that something that happens a little bit after you wrap, so to speak?
You can't be thinking of that. I try to think as my character and not yeah. I feel like that'll just take you out of it to be concerned about an audience member, especially when it's an actor perspective. Yeah, no, I think there's so much brilliance and again the storyline and the the editing and Eli sees the whole picture. But no, when you're acting in it, it's just you got to be committed to each moment.
Absolutely. And Clown in the Cornfield is available in North America in theaters, like this month, which is exciting. And eventually people are going to be able to stream it on Shudder, which is
Yeah.
the coolest thing ever. Oh my God, that's like a dream. Just having
I know.
like,
I love Shudder.
I love Shudder too.
It's just like
Shudder is like
fan.
Shudder
Like
has
Candyland.
I'm like an avid, like I will watch every new Shudder release. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But Cassandra, so great chatting with you. Thanks so much for your time. Seriously.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
We can talk about it all day.
Absolutely. And there might or might not be another really cool feature in the works in regards with Popternative. So they should check that out when it's out, right?
Yeah, awesome.
That was great. We don't want to give too much away. Your Instagram account is just your name, right? Or like Cass Potenza or
Cassandra Potenza.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. This has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative previous episodes. Till next time, it's Cassandra Potenza and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.